One of the things I really like about martial arts training is the principles don't just apply to punching and kicking and weapons, they also apply to things that happen in life. And today I wanted to talk about the difference between a reaction and a response. A reaction is instinctual. It usually is based on a feeling that we feel inside that is triggered by an experience or something that happens from a certain kind of stimulus. So for example, if we look at this in the context of martial arts, if someone is going to kick you and they step forward with their rear leg and they're coming forward to kick you, you're gonna react in a way to block their kick, because if you don't, you're gonna get hit. So usually that reaction is developed by experience. So for example, let's say you've had your hand in a certain position before and someone kicked you and it really, really hurts. So now every time that you see that same thing happening, you're gonna put your hand in a certain place. This is a reaction. This happens also in life. So for example, whenever we have an external stimulus and it triggers something within us, we're gonna feel a certain way. We cannot control what we feel. We cannot have full autonomy over our emotions, okay? We're under this misconception a lot of times, especially as men, we can shut off emotions, we can shut off and not feel things. We're always gonna feel them, it's just we train our brains not to react to how we feel, right? So the difference between a reaction and a response is calculated reaction to things. If you feel a certain way that you're going to react about something, let's say if we look at this in the context of martial arts, someone is trying to kick you and they put their leg in a certain position and you're going to react a certain way, but you stay aware because they may be trying to fake you, you can be able to watch out for different techniques that are coming, because you won't just react to the first thing that happens. So response is, you're recognizing the reaction that you have within, but you're also using your brain to evaluate the situation. Now, how do we apply this to life? A lot of times things will happen in life that will trigger things within us. If we have anything to do with other human beings and society, life happens. Life is not going to be isolated where we're meditating on a mountaintop and everything is very peaceful all the time. People are going to say things, they're going to do things, situation will arise where they're going to make you react to things. They're going to trigger emotions inside of you. And if you go with your knee-jerk reaction to situations, most times it's gonna probably cause you suffering, or it's gonna probably mess situations up for you in your life. I can attest to this because when I was younger and a lot more, I would say, high-strung and a lot more hyper and a lot less self-aware, I would react to certain situations based on how I feel, and a lot of the times I would create a lot of problems in my life because I didn't know how to respond to things. So the key difference between reaction and response is self-awareness. If you have a level of self-awareness where you know that, okay, this situation happened, this is how I'm feeling based on the situation, I'm conscious of myself. I know that, all right, this situation happened and it's making me feel this kind of way. Before I go with my natural reaction to do something about it, right? Let's say, for example, I feel threatened because someone threatened to hurt me. So before it's, okay, you want to hurt me? Let's go. Then I'll just beat the living shit out of you. Rather than doing that, I evaluate the situation, evaluate what's going on, and respond to it in the best way possible. Use your brain and get involved so you're not just going with a knee-jerk reaction to that situation. It doesn't have to be such a big thing, and it won't always be situations where there's physical violence involved. Maybe it's words, maybe it's situations, maybe it's your own reaction to what you see. A lot of the times we'll see something on the internet or we'll see something on the news and our mind will react in a certain way. Oh, there's 150,000 new cases and oh my God, I'm gonna die, what's gonna happen? Then our mind goes on this roller coaster of planning, 50 steps ahead of this situation that means imminent death, and a lot of times it doesn't really even happen anyway, which I know this is quite common for a lot of people. So if we develop a level of self-awareness, number one, we have to recognize, okay, this situation happened, this is how it makes me feel. This is what my reactionary mind wants to do. Before I give in to what my reactionary mind wants to do, let me think about this whole situation in detail and how I can use the situation to either create a benefit in my life or I can navigate the situation so I'm not going to create more suffering for myself. And it can be very difficult depending on the amount of emotions we have inside. So let's say, for example, someone says something that triggers an emotion that's really sensitive to you and you just want to react right away. If you do those kind of things, and if we go into this reactionary state based on a really heavier and intense emotion, a lot of the times the result is probably going to be negative. So developing self-awareness through meditation is a great way to counter this. The more that we're able to sit with ourselves. Now, I mean this in a way that if we sit down to meditate, especially when we're new, because when I was new to meditation years and years back, I would sit down like, man, this is so boring. What am I doing? I want to do something else, because your mind is going to start to pull you in all these different directions. Get up, go turn on the air conditioner, check your email, watch on TV, what am I going to eat for dinner? It's going to want to pull you away from the present reality you're in. It doesn't want to observe itself, because that's letting go of the ego. And if you sit through it, it'll start to phase out, and it'll start to get in a phase where you're aware of yourself. And the best way to do this, to fast track this whole process, is to get the mind within the body. This is one of the great benefits of doing yoga, is because if your mind is only focused on the pose, only focused on what the body feels, it's not going to be thinking about all of these things in the outside world. It doesn't have the capacity and space to do that. It's going to be fully present. Then from there, it'll boil itself down to being present within itself. And when we're able to sit and observe ourselves, we're able to separate our thoughts, our emotions, and our reactionary mind from our observer mind. We're able to watch ourselves. Then we'll have more practice and clarity when real situations arise when we need to do this. For those of us who are in relationships, you know that your partner can make you react to things. Or I wouldn't say make you. I'm sorry, I wouldn't say that. No one can make us do anything. People can make us feel something within ourselves. We react to it based on our own judgment and our own choice. So if we take responsibility for, okay, this situation is making me feel this way, what am I going to do about it? Then no one can make you do anything. They can just trigger an emotion within you and try to set you up to make a choice where you're committing an action that they want you to commit. But essentially, you're the one that's doing it. It's just allowing yourself to be manipulated or allowing yourself to be controlled is, again, you giving your power away or not. So it's something that you can develop through the practice of meditation. So I just wanted to throw this out there and leave this with you. The final, I guess, point of this video, the meat and potatoes of what I want to say is, if you develop a level of self-awareness when these situations happen, and you develop awareness of, okay, this is how I'm feeling in the situation, this is how I want to react, let me stop myself there and let me think about this, then respond to the situation where you calculate out the best response to this so you don't create suffering and you can create more benefit or create a level of peace in your life, then you're going to be a lot better off than simply just reacting to what you feel, because most times our reactions usually create negative situations in our life.